Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to your April 2025 reading. I'm Susan, your intuitive tarot and astrologer here. We're going to talk about love and money, so let's get right into your reading today. First, we're going to do love. I'm noticing that is mostly what is on the minds of people at this time, not just Sages, people in general. And yeah, just a lot of movement, of course, with this Vino retrograde. If you did, if you're having a wine retrograde, great. But this is a Venus retrograde that we've been in. And finally, Venus will go direct, which is love and money, this Saturday, the 12th of April, along with this Libra full moon, which does really encompass a 2-year cycle. We talked about it a little bit in the eclipse reading, and then I'll also have a full moon reading out as well for you. The first card out's the World. This being the first card out, Sagittarius, honestly, I have to say, I'm really happy. There's a part of me that's surprised, but I know that you've been, especially Sagittarius suns, but Sagittarius placements in general are going through quite a change in your life. And this World card says you're doing it. This World card says you're wrapping up cycles at your pace that you go at. And I honestly have to say that I'm really proud of you. If no one's told you, Sag, there's a reason why I'm wearing this human sweatshirt, and the song "We're Only Human After All" keeps coming to my head every time I think of you. I've been thinking of you a lot. I've been praying for you a lot for all the Sagittarius placements. And this culmination, this ending that we forget at new beginnings, there's also endings sometimes. And here we have the Ace of Wands at the bottom, and we're going to use it because I want you to get inspired. My hope, my wish, my intention for you is that you find inspiration at this time of change, that you see that this humanness that you have, the humanness that we all have, the strength that it takes to carry this body and the weight of this body physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally at this time, and to really give yourself the right amount of reflection that you need for you. Like whatever amount that is. I'm looking for the right word, but really it's how much acknowledgement you need is up to you. Okay, Mercury went direct, but I am still struggling a little bit, so bear with me. So the right amount of energy that you need to, what you believe that is for you, what makes sense to you to reflect, to process, to understand, to wrap this up, because right now we're all experiencing this theme of, as you move forward, that's what's going to heal the remnants. There's no clear, and you understand this, but I think sometimes even you, Sag, the great experimenter of this time, you want things to end nicely, right? We want things to be nicely ended, especially if you care. If you don't care, I know you don't care, but if you really deeply care, and it's okay also to admit that you care. That is something we're going to talk about, is admitting that you care and that it's okay. And noticing where you picked that up, of course. Like where'd that programming come from if you relate to that? This is about the cycle ending of how you're moving and how you utilize your energy in this life and where you put it mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. So this experiment, this change, and knowing that this ending, this new beginning that is also ending, will continue to end throughout the year. There will be remnants. At times it will be easier to move forward, to move through, especially now we're talking about love. So all of this in the context of love. You're recreating, and this Venus retrograde has given you, whether or not you see it this way, the time and space to be able to understand, for Sag risings, what's been going on in the foundational areas of your life. Because you may have Pisces in the 4th house. and then Aries in the 5th. The 4th house, which we'll get more into the second part of your reading, the 4th house is all about foundation. It's all about foundation. It's all about caregivers, programming, and that role that you play in the family. Like, I know the 10th house is the role that you play in your world. The 4th house is that which it carries out through your family, your whatever family means to you, of course, and your foundation. And then how that comes out in your home life. So when you're at home, whatever that means to you, of course, because some of us do believe that we're at home in ourselves, but that is something to attain and to aspire to be. And then your 5th house being lit up of creativity, children, romance, pleasure. This is all being healed and being sifted, filtered through in the 4th house, so that when we get to this 5th house with all this Aries energy, this fire energy, you have a direction to point your arrow, to point your arch. And there's this very strong inspiration behind you that is no longer being leaked out in any areas of your life. And also learning how this relates to whatever has happened in your foundation and where that has provided you an outlet of pleasure, not necessarily like to experience, but to escape, right? That's the Pisces. What we're happening is escapism too. So what's happening right now. So learning to know that pleasure is not to escape, but it's to embrace the internal. And where you've found yourself pleasure seeking in love instead of the experience of love, right? And it's okay to have both, but maybe you've begun to notice where you started to maybe overcompensate at some point and where that possibly came from. So whether or not you're in, this is for single and if you're in a relationship, you're deeply going through something right now. And what that expression means to you and what it's like to have that heart open, because remember, we talked a lot about disarming and being able to really see yourself emotionally and where you've been, what's been hidden from you or by you at times, right? That's also escapism, is when we're wanting to hide from ourselves, when we're wanting to hide from the change that is inevitable, right, Sag? So we got very Sagittarius and out there thinking, but that is the broad spectrum that even though it's Aries season and it's very focused, it wants you focused on that broadness right now. So we'll get way more in depth into this, into the second part of the reading, which I'm going to take a moment here to say is in the first link below on Patreon, where we go in more in depth into the love and the money card reading through the cards that have come out, and even more into the astrology. You can also find my website, schedule link, and all payment options. That is all below. So please check that out. Patreon link is the extended. You get in the Sagittarius tier, you'll get this, but then you also receive all of the free content right to your email. So you can check that out there. All right, let's move on to money. Whole new beginnings, and you're ready for them. And maybe at times it may feel, hard to move on, or like as if you're giving up, right? But really that's just the stubbornness that you're experiencing of yourself from realizing that sometimes something just doesn't work, right? It doesn't matter how hard you push and try and how strong you are and what you're able to experience. Yes, that is necessary and needed, and it's a beautiful part of you. But it's also necessary for you to recognize like when that's to your detriment, right? And your ruling planet, Jupiter, has been in its detriment. And in the middle of this year, it's going to finally move into a way better area for all of us. But it also depends on where that is in your chart, and we'll get there. Money. Opportunities are coming. especially if you've been creating, even if it's not creating to sell and you're creating for pleasure, Sagittarius, the flow of opportunities, the choices you will have, we're going to use it, the choices you will have. Now, there could be an opportunity that presents itself as a test. Even if you decide to follow through with it and you don't recognize it as a test, it's good, because the things that means that you're on your way, that you just maybe need to experience this one last thing, or this final moment, right? Where you need, my cat. Oh yeah. He's been really present. He almost sat here, but I needed the room. So he's been really present with me while I've been tapping into your energy. So if you feel really connected to your animals or to animals right now, definitely spend some time with them. But yeah, so anyway, back to you and your reading. Money, it's here. Especially if you're being creative. And I would say even with your words. But there's a clarity that needs to come with your words as well. These opportunities may come through different directions and avenues and at times when you are in a creative space, and you may not believe me at first that just being creative will bring an opportunity, like for pleasure, will bring an opportunity. I think you know that though, and I think you're going to start recognizing that pattern even more and more in yourself. Or if whatever you're doing brings you energy, if it's giving you energy, it doesn't deplete you, keep rolling with it, because that is what's going to bring you into this next chapter. Because whatever idea that you're coming up with, because this is like this new chapter of love, is this new chapter of money as well. And we get tested in both areas, like wherever it is. So sometimes it's very clear that the imbalance is with love, but you're so balanced with money. And now you're being tested with love because it wants to get you to the area of money. And I will share with you something I've noticed as a reader and a coach is that, and as an energy reader, is that, and through experience with people, is that those of us who find ease being very clear in our career, right? You're very clear with your boss. You're very clear if you are your own boss, or you're doing both, and you're able to manage it, and you're very clear and concise, and you can ask for your needs and your requirements in that area. That a lot of times it can be very the opposite of experience in love. I don't want to claim difficulty or hard, because I want us to learn to make things easy for ourselves, right? So words are really important too, and I am becoming more aware of that in myself. So here I'm going to present to you that if it is difficult, or you found it to be more difficult or harder to express in love than it is in money, or vice versa, it's really important that you learn, okay, how do I bring that into this area? And that's what you are going to be shown at this time, that no matter where you are at and what it is that you want to do, that you don't step outside of your worth. You don't find yourself in desperation, right? You're not desperate for anyone. You're in this beginning of the eclipses in the areas where we really can be codependent are Pisces and Virgo. And we've been exploring Venus in our Pisces areas of life for quite some time now. And we still will be for the rest of the month almost. So the 30th is when Venus will finally move into Aries. So these areas of your life are being taken a look at in a way in which how you can connect to yourself, connect to your relations in a more perhaps productive way, a more balanced way, right? Very Libra full moon coming up, ending of this cycle. Even if you don't feel it now, Sag, because this is coming out before the full moon will make it extremely clear. We're not moving beyond this time without feeling through whatever discomfort that we have in order to get to these ace places, because the aces are in your destiny right now. This is a time where you are being, if you ask, you are being provided for, but it's up to you to attune and recognize the prosperity, the ideas, the abundance, the right person, not just saying one thing, but also doing it. Both. And we'll talk more about that in the full moon reading as well. Let's just take another look, take another sip, because this I've been thinking about you so much. I've been wanting to sit down and do this. I just finally have the energy to do it. This place in money wherever you find yourself receiving opportunity, whatever place you find you are in when you're receiving these opportunities, I really am going to accentuate that, not just repeat it, is so important for you to recognize right now, because that's the kind of energy, simply put, that needs to be expanded into your entire life and remembered. Very important to be remembered. So if you're not used to writing or drawing or whatever it is, it's time to bring yourself to a space where you can bring yourself back to that feeling, back to that worthiness, no matter what. Because Jupiter has been Sag rising, sitting in your 7th house of one-on-one partnerships, one-on-one commitments, clients, intimate relationships for almost a year. And that has maybe been a space where it's felt a little unlucky at times, and like you've been going through this process, and you have been. And how that relates to money is that we all have a need and a desire for our ego in an authentic way to be recognized, right? We're going to talk more about that with Mars in the next part too, because Mars is finally switching into Leo and leaving Cancer. You know? So where that energy of the ego is necessary to feel confident, right? We all in our own way need some kind of external validation for this confidence, and now we're learning to, with everything in Aries, we would think that's external, but it's about the self, and it's in Neptune. It's a very spiritual planet, and we're in the sun right now, so everything is like moving towards this Ariesness, so our egos can understand, so we can understand our egos, I should say. You know, it's like the money might not be coming from exactly where you want it to be. However, maybe you don't know it's exactly the right fit, or you don't know you have to go through what this looks like right now in order to get to the next phase, which will bring you on a long time journey. And that's why whatever is being cleared out and eclipsed out of your life, because we are still in my opinion, the energy of eclipses, and we're coming up to this full moon, allowing whatever that is to flush out of you, especially in the mind. Aries rules the mind. And we'll get more into like that ancestry with Libra and the kidneys. But it's like whatever's running through, it's the veins too, your blood, your veins. Something powerful is happening with both of these areas of your life, and I don't want to boil that down. Let's get into these nitty-gritties in the next part, okay? All information is below. It's time for the change. And I know you can feel it, and I'm so excited for you. And the heavy lifting, the heaviest parts are either have been done or happening now and are ready for this fiery energy. But be careful of burnout, Sag. Just be careful of burnout, okay? So let's get into these aces. All information is below, and I'll see you there.